5:30. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today, Lord, and thank you for every blessing that you've given us. We ask you, Lord, that you direct our thoughts tonight, Lord, that you take care of our citizens. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Afternoon, everybody. Let's do a roll call.
Aaron Rowe.
Here.
John Manus.
Here.
James Davis.
Here.
Savannah Robinson.
Here.
Ken Colley.
Here.
Bill Young.
Here.
Ron Sharon.
Here. Looks like everybody's present. Has everybody got to look at the minutes from the October 10th meeting? Sure. Anybody would like to make a motion to approve those minutes as written?
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. The ayes have it. All right. Anybody from the public would like to talk about any items on the agenda? All right. Unfinished business. We got it all done. So let's go to new business. Discussion of the cost of living raises for 2024. Miss Charity.
I'm just gonna hand out, Steve, I'll let you. I'm gonna hand out, what I'm giving you guys is the CPI categories that impact our employees the most, and the numbers for 7, 8, and 9%.
You're clean, glad it's ready.
I also want to tell you guys, Megan did this research for me. Our turnover rate for last year was 9%. Our turnover rate the year before was 29, and in 21 it was 19%. And I have to believe our lower turnover rate has to be because this board has taken care of their employees the last few years. Y'all have really done good and stepped up. So a 9% turnover rate saves the city way more than a good cost of living cost us, because training is expensive. So anyways, so I've put together the CPI categories. These are the things that we all spend money on: food, gas, rent, medical care, motor vehicle insurance. Anybody else felt the ding in their insurance? We've been talking about that a lot. Yeah. And so on the next page, I gave y'all the cost for 7, 8, and 9%. And of course, that's all I have to say. The discussion is yours. So any questions, any comments?
Do we have the money to pay?
Yes, so I've already put together a preliminary budget with the highest number, not knowing which way you guys would go, and we have 130,000 over revenues in general fund with the highest.
I just remember that, since I've been on this board, whenever there's a cost of living raise, it's always been set to the consumer price index, which is 4.1% today.
Okay.
And now we're changing it to something different.
Okay.
I think we ought to have a standard of what we go by every single year.
I think if we had a normal year, that'd probably work out. But this has not been, last couple of years have been totally asinine.
We've always met the consumer price index.
Yeah, well,
And that's fine. You guys will vote on whatever percentage you want tonight, and then that's what I will do. Obviously, a 4.1 would be less than what I've given you numbers here for, so we would have enough for that. So that
I'm all
is
for
up to the
keeping
board
good
body.
employees, but I think we have to be responsible in how we do it. And if we're going to go by something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the past, I think that ought to be the standard that we use, whether it's good or bad.
There's 2 or 3 things that enter into this. One of them that you all have seen, and you see a part of it in the budget. We're not running a cafeteria here. The things that we are running is we go through a ton of gasoline, and no pun intended, it's gallons. The other thing we have to pay for is the insurance. And unfortunately, as Ron says, we've had enough vehicle insurance for those of you that have got your policy You will probably have eyes bulging out. And then the last thing we've had is, we had a citizen who decided that he didn't want to be hauled in by the drug task force, and he succeeded in gouging the door on one of the police cruisers, which has to be repaired, and two doors. He will probably get, I hope he will get maybe 15 to 20 years to keep him off the streets. Since he can't drive and he wants to pedal, we'll give him something else to do. This is the two things that enter into the big thing, is the insurance, the vehicles, and the fuel. And it is, it's tough. It's tough. One of the pluses we have here, and you all should be aware of it for recruiting and retention, is our insurance, the health insurance program that we have here for the employees and for the benefit partially paid for their families. And most cities around here don't have it. They have a rate that's higher, but people also have to pay for their insurance, and it's not always the best. Megan and the charity have worked hard to get the money juggled up to keep the insurance program as it is. I will tell you that if you've not been following the state of Arkansas deal, there are questions now, since I have two state retirees in my family, and they're not sure what kind of health insurance program they're going to have, if they have a program. But that's going to be another thing. The other thing, if you haven't had to visit down to Walmart or you get groceries delivered to your door, well, you're probably into culture shock as well. It is not funny.
Real estate
Taxes.
raises are gonna go up too.
We already have
The taxes.
assessment on all the properties.
Oh, yes. What percent did that increase, do you figure?
Crawford County went up 30%.
Okay, that blows your 9% out though.
Take your breath away.
So those of you that are paying real estate tax and you have something, just wait till you get your tax bill. I haven't seen mine yet, but I suspect it'll be there shortly, because if you've paid your taxes in October, that'll be the next thing. And we have not seen anybody here, Joe or any of us have, out in the little red pickup tooling around looking at appraising. It was contract appraiser the last time, wasn't it?
That's, yeah, Sebastian County doesn't have, they aren't capable of doing their own appraisals, they have to contract it out.
Usually the task does it.
So that's things to consider, and for you all, we're gonna be working on the budget, and in fact is, we got, for all that have the city and state magazine from the Municipal League, it is here already, and it is talking about that, and there's one item that I saw in the little paper copy, not the slick finish, but the paper copy. The thing that caught my attention the most was what Joe and Kim and I are involved in every day, and it's cleanup and removal of junk in the town blight. And that's the one thing, if you have a contact with a legislator or they're your personal friend, tell them. We need that to where we have some strength, where you can go out, and it doesn't take 2 arms and a leg and 14 legal procedures to get something cleaned up.
Do we have to make a decision tonight on 7, 8, or 9%?
No, you
No,
don't
it's
have
just
to. I'll just continue figuring the budget at the highest, that way we know that we have the money.
Man, what was last year's?
9%. Almost 9%. Also, one of the board of directors approached us about, it has not, y'all have not also gotten a raise since I've been here. I know this is crazy, but this is my 4th budget. So it might be time to consider and discuss a raise for the board of directors as well. I know Fort Smith got a huge one. We can't afford to pay you guys like Fort Smith, but that might be, it might be time.
But we can't afford to do this, though. Along, I mean, we're giving cost of living allowances, I mean, wanna include us in it.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can
Well, I
afford.
mean, and, our planning commission, we got people coming up here for nothing, and we need to address that situation too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, there's no there's no prohibition against paying the planning commission.
That's right, but it wouldn't hurt to.
We've never done it before.
That's
It's-
right.
Yeah.
But it's
Now,
given them
They donate their time just like
that's right.
we do. I think they ought to be compensated to some extent as well.
I have no problem with that. Fact is,
I think they'll put it in budget for next year.
you know, if it can be added, and it's really simple to do.
That's easy. I just need the numbers, how much y'all wanna pay. And, I do think that you guys need to consider the board a raise. I'd give y'all a raise if I could, but it's not in my power.
I don't think we need to raise.
I mean, we made it last year with the 9%, and we didn't have half the income coming in as we got now.
No, you're correct. It didn't even hurt us. And here's the thing, because there's going to come a year where I'm going to stand up here and say, we can't even give the CPI. That's inevitable. But this year I can say not only can we give the CPI, but we can give more than the CPI. I mean, and I know it's coming from an employee who benefits, but trust me, if I could say, don't give the COLA to me, that would be fine. Give it to everyone else. We do have men who work here who support their families, women who are supporting their families. I mean, it is good that we can bless our employees in this way. So that is why I come to you guys with the highest possible, not because I benefit, but because I work with the people who run the city every day who benefit. Public Works, we can't do this without them. Police officers, the firemen, we can't do this. We can't do what we do without them.
I
City
get all
doesn't
that,
benefit.
but what standard are we gonna use next year? Whatever one's the highest?
Whatever, well, you have to look at it on a case by case according to the revenues that are coming in too, Bill. Whenever I'm looking at it, I'm not only looking at what the CPI is, but what can the city afford? And of course, it's up to you guys to make the decision. I'm glad the decision's not on me. I just bring you the information and then y'all make the decision. And right now, we could afford easily to give a 9%. But if y'all determine a 4.1 is where you wanna go, then that's what we'll do. That's fine. But
Let's-
that's where I get the information.
Well, let's say we do a 9%.
Mhm.
Are we gonna, how long are we gonna be able to continue to do that?
You mean
Yeah, I
years
mean,
to come?
yeah, I'm talking about, let's look 5 years down the road.
Well, it's hard to predict
Right.
5 years down
I
the
know.
road.
That's
But
a
yes, if
year-to-year
we
basis thing.
continue at the,
We're coming in.
right, if we continue at the trajectory that we are at, 5 years down the road, I will be saying every year 9%. But we know economy, it happens. They raised the interest rates not too long ago, which is what has brought the CPI down lower. If it wasn't for the raised interest rates, the CPI would probably be at about 8 or 9%. But that's what the economy does, right? That's what the Federal
Right.
Reserve does. So this is a hard conversation to have. It's gonna be hard every year. And I'm just glad that I'm not the one who has to make the decision. I just bring you the information.
Is this the only raise employees get?
No, department heads can actually give merit raises here. That's not, traditional for all. Of course, they're limited to within their budget. But yes, they can give merit raises. But,
This pretty well takes care of that.
this is about
I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's why I
90% of the employees, this is their raise.
I make a motion.
Oh, 2 years ago exactly, not including the bait shop, but furniture in itself has went up 25% in its cost.
Yeah, I mean, small business owners know how much cost has went up, how much gas has went up, how much, we all know. We all feel the effects whenever we go to the grocery store and buy a $10 bag of potatoes. The good news is I think that, I haven't been eating potatoes here lately, but I think they're still the same price as they were last year, but $10 a bag is a lot.
I know the economy is, let's just face it, economy's in the crapper, but if we have the ability to take care of the employees of this city, I think we should take care of the employees of the city the best that we can.
Mayor, do you want a motion?
If you'd like to make a motion,
I'd like to make a motion, we give our employees pay raise of 9%.
I'll second it.
got a motion and a second for a 9% pay raise. Roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus,
Yes.
James Davis,
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young,
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
I think we took care of the employees.
Thank you.
I do wanna say, a 9% turnover rate, I checked with other cities, that's insane. I mean, our retention rate the last 2 years has been tremendous. We've got the police department back under order, they're staying, they're happy. That's good numbers for all the time, that's really good numbers for after COVID, when it's almost cheaper to stay. County is at 27% turnover rate this year.
I look at that differently because I look at it now that we don't have the turnover, now it's all about performance. Now we can really focus on performance and doing the right things at the right time.
Absolutely.
And run the departments the way they should be run,
Absolutely.
including admin.
It is easier to not have to play catch up and train people all the time.
Of course, what you realize is we just pushed you into a higher tax bracket. Uncle Sam's gonna get their dime and then
Well,
some.
that's for sure.
All righty, moving along. Department head reports. Mr. Joe, what do you got for us?
All right, during the month of September, grass has finally started to slow down. We were able to catch up on a lot of these that had been pending, so that's a good thing. We're also working on citywide cleanup. Obviously, that's this weekend coming up, so the few that we need to get to citywide cleanup, we're working on that. Also, too, if you hadn't noticed, the old hospital manufacturing warehouse plant over here at 909C, it is up for sale. It is being re-roofed and all that, so that's been vacant for some time. So hopefully we'll see something there here pretty soon. That's all I have.
What's the time frame on I know it's this weekend, is it Friday and Saturday or Saturday?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, and what are the times? For the cleanup?
7 to 5.
7 to 5, yeah.
Okay.
All righty. Megan, you got anything?
Cruise night, if rain, I mean, I hope it's gonna, chance it's gonna go away.
Cruise night for
night.
Saturday.
Do you have alternative plan?
Rain or shine, bring them on.
Rain or shine, you can
I mean,
cruise.
you know, if it's not raining when they get here, they're probably gonna stay, but if it's raining beforehand, they ain't coming.
At least Kevin won't have throwing no water down there on the highway down there this time.
Tommy?
For the month of September, we ran 4 fires, 72 medical, and 17 public service. It's a total of 93 runs. Average response time is 2 minutes and 18 seconds. We ran multiple calls at once, twice. It was a total of 4 runs. We made 1 response out of the city. We issued 9 burn permits. The crews are almost done flushing hydrants, and we'll start painting them next. When the weather changes, that'll probably won't be finished till spring. And the new pumper should be here sometime this week.
Excited for that. I can't wait to see it. Mr. Bryan?
Really don't have a whole lot. We're currently working a step on distracted driving, so see a few more patrol cars out than normal, that's why. That's reimbursed by DOT. And we're getting geared up for trunk or treat at the school on the 27th. A couple of officers tied up there. I guess we're still doing that on cruise night?
No,
No? Okay.
no, because the school's doing it on Friday, and so we're
Okay.
just participating there.
It's cruise night, I've got everyone out, reach out to state police and the county. County said they would, provide us with a couple of extra officers to help with the, traffic issues. And state it just depends because of their manpower and what their caseload's like, whether they can help us or not, but.
Is it safe to assume no off-road vehicles are gonna be allowed like last year?
None.
None.
But they can be un-street legal vehicles, right?
Trailered vehicles, that's what he's asking.
Drag cars.
You really don't need anything that can't be driven on the street legally. Because of what's happened, okay? Don't bring it.
All right, Steve, you're up.
Okay, in your packet, you'll see a OG&E new way of doing business. It's a project application that you go in for power. It's probably been worked over and reworked, and we've got it to where they, being OG&E, has come forward with stuff that you need. And I will tell you that you all probably only hear a bit and pieces of it, but Kim has probably refereed more solar collector panels and solar power panels unnecessarily than you could ever believe. We have taught every solar panel crew for 100 miles in every direction, and you got people that can't get the directions right. So this is part of their answer to whether or not you have commercial power or what you get out. We've been real lucky that we have not had any geniuses decide to hook up the solar panels and electrocute themselves. We've had a couple of times in the past where we got them stopped. They were gonna hook up the panels without an electrician, and they thought they could just do it themselves, and
You just plug them in the wall, don't you?
yeah, you just plug them right on in and
Well
go.
played.
But we had these two rocket scientists in a brand new subdivision that decided they were gonna do home improvement, and only sheer luck kept us from going over and having the first call be to the coroner. But that's the way it is. I want to tell you that first off, we got the paperwork this week, blessed by the highway department, for the new traffic signals to be down at the main gate, and this is video controlled. And the other thing that I'm waiting on now is the second shoe to drop in this, and that's the permit from the railroad. For those of you that have only heard little bits and pieces about dealing with the railroad, it is described as a nightmare. But if you do what they tell you to do and do the instructions and don't take shortcuts, you can bore under a railroad. So you can imagine we're going to have to bore not only under the railroad, we're going to have to bore under the highway, the interstate down here, to run the power, because this will be interlocked with the 59 highway traffic signals at the same time, and the railroad gangbuster light that flashes when the trains are going through. Unfortunately, there are not that many, but this is here and is running. For those of you that haven't been up and took a look at the Jaeger site, it is capped and looked like they had the storm drain pipe in there working from what I've seen today. The other is we did get the money and the contract is signed, and addendum added for the track and pavilion up at the Mercy Crest. And the sidewalk is, drawings are down for the sidewalk down at EDM.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Good deal. I can't wait for Jaegers.
Mayor, what's the status on our sign out front?
It's ordered.
Is it ordered?
Yes, yes.
Signs ordered? About when should we be seeing the sign?
November-ish, hopefully. They said 6 to 8 weeks. and
Okay.
they'll
Pretty
install
quick.
it. Yeah, they said they'll install it the next day it comes in, so.
That's gonna be nice once we get that in. All righty. Well, I've got one announcement, and I wish she could have been here. And Officer Fuller, not Officer Fuller, Fletcher. Chief Fuller got this letter, and it was addressed to me. I'm gonna read it real quick, if that's okay. That cool with you? All right. It says, I was involved in a vehicle accident on October the 2nd at the intersection of Fort Chaffee Boulevard and Mahogany. The officer responding to investigate was Officer Fletcher. Officer Fletcher demonstrated to be in complete control, prepared to de-escalate any situation if necessary. Immediately upon arrival at the accident, Officer Fletcher took command to clear the roadway to allow ease of local traffic. She was professional, knowledgeable, friendly, courteous, and should be commended for a job well done. As a citizen of the Barling community, it's an honor for us to have police officers like Officer Fletcher on your force. I sincerely thank you for your efforts to maintain trained professional officers. Officer Fletcher exemplifies and sets the bar for others to follow. And that is from I'm not even gonna try to, retired U.S. Army Colonel Calvin J. Washapak. I'm guessing that's what, but, Officer Fletcher needs to be commended, and I know I talked to Megan, we'll send her a little thank you card and all that, but good job. When you have letters coming to you about your officers like that, just makes you feel good to live in a town like this where we have professionals and all that on duty all the time. So thank you, Officer Fletcher. Does anybody else have any other announcements? We've got cleanup on Friday and Saturday, 7 to 5. We've got the cruise night Saturday. So with that, we have public input for the 2
Aaron's got
minutes.
something for you.
Oh, sorry.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
Miss Megan. On that post for the cruise night, did you put on there, do you know, four-wheelers or drag cars? Because they've always brought them. If they show up with them, we're gonna have a big problem if they're not allowed.
I
Because-
typically, and I'll look at
And
that
I'll start getting all the phone calls.
But typically, I had talked to Steve, as long as they have headlights, taillights, and
Road legal.
seen at night,
Yeah.
and, I mean, being tagged, as long as they stay on Fort Street, hasn't been a problem in the past, as long as we can see them. It's a safety thing, so as long as they're safe,
Yeah.
that's
Road
been
legal.
fine.
I don't
So,
think we'll have a problem with the presence of the police this time.
Yeah,
I think everything will go smooth. I just didn't,
but I'll make a reminder post in that they need to have headlights and
Just
taillights.
taillights, right, if they had taillights.
No burnouts, no wheelies,
yeah.
no riding in the back of a truck, none of that.
Yeah.
All right, public input. Anybody from the public? Yes, you're up. And you know what? You're the first one since we started videoing, so congratulations.
No pressure there.
Come on down.
And the worst thing I could do is get up here and prolong a board meeting.
So if you'll just
Because I've been in lots of board meetings, so I understand.
just state your name and who you're with.
My name is Wayne Fawcett, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm here, I am starting a new business out at the Village at Heritage. I always get that, across from the DO school. What I've started working on, and what I think you guys will have a resolution, I guess, in 2 weeks to vote on, is the resolution to allow me to establish a wine bar in the new section of the Village at Heritage. It's in that second phase that is perpendicular to the 2 existing buildings. Our space is the smallest one. It's called Unwind, with wine in capital letters. If you drive out there, the sign is actually up. And as part of, I've learned this recently, the ABC has not been very helpful. They first told me all I needed was a beer and wine permit, sent me everything, and I got all that done, and then the enforcement agent came out and said, oh no, that's all wrong, because you're in Barling, and across the street is Fort Smith, and they sent me all the wrong paperwork, so I'm back to square one. That's why I'm before you guys to get the resolution that with the 100 signatures and all that, I'm not gonna go into all the details, but ours is gonna be a really small space. We're not trying to be in competition with Uncorked. We're no affiliation with them. It's gonna be very small, very intimate, very relaxed, wine and beer only, no hard drinks. We're not even gonna cook any food. It's gonna be charcuterie boards and finger foods and things like that, just a place to come after work, after a board meeting, after.
Unwind?
Unwind and unwind. Before dinner, Blue Point's gonna open eventually out there, and so it's just gonna be a place to come and relax. And we're working on it. The build-out is occurring. The walls are sheetrocked, and so we're making progress. And it'll probably be now, with everything that we have to do after the first of the year before we'll open. But I was just here for that. I know you guys have to put it on the agenda and then wait time and then vote on it next board meeting. And then I can submit the second application now to the ABC and hopefully take care of that little deal. And
You have a target date of when this might open?
after the first of the year, now that this is a delay, and I got my new build-out schedule this morning. He'll be finished probably in mid-December. And so we'll have a couple of soft openings and certainly invite the board of directors to one of those. And it'll probably be after the first of the year before we could ever actually open the doors and get started.
Welcome to Barling.
Sir?
Welcome to Barling.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
I actually live in Fort Smith. Just moved there about 2 years ago, and I'm retired. Just recently retired, and this is gonna be my retirement gig. And
What'd you retire from?
I was a public school superintendent. I was in education for 39 years. So
deserve the
I'm very familiar with board meetings.
You're also familiar now with the Arkansas Beverage Control.
Yeah.
More than I ever want. I've dealt with state agencies, mostly the Department of Education. And so I know how one will beat their head against the wall dealing with a state agency. But the ABC they're on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So, but we're working through that, and we will eventually get open. And there's gonna be some neat businesses out there. My son and daughter-in-law are actually putting an aesthetics place that they do all the injections and stuff I don't understand. But, and then, Simply Couture is gonna be next to us, and the general store, and Polka Dot Zebra's already open, Blue Point. So it's gonna be a really nice place out there. Already is, and we're hoping to add to that out there. And
Yep, definitely look forward to the sales tax too. I know these guys are. Yeah,
well, that's,
forward to that.
sitting here, believe me, I've done budgets, school budgets and tax revenue, and I speak that whole language, or I did anyway, until I retired. And I'm glad I don't have to go to board meetings anymore.
Well, absolutely. Welcome to Barling. Thank you for opening up your business. And maybe I can get you to help me go and get some petitions signed about maybe changing South Sebastian County to get it to go wet, so we don't have to mess with the ABC as much as we do now.
I'll certainly be able to help you and be willing to help you. Just as an aside, I will tell you how ridiculous the laws are. The beer and wine permit is $350. If I was across the street on the medical school side, that's what it would be. But because I have to do a private club and do all of this, the fee is $3,000, simply across the street.
This is,
Welcome to Barling.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your fault. That's ABC.
yeah,
That's the state. And I've got to own a nonprofit to make a profit, and nobody has yet to explain to me why I have to own a nonprofit to run a for-profit business. Even the lawyers can't explain that to me at the state. So anyway, I'm sorry.
no, that's all right.
It's fine.
I don't want to prolong a board meeting.
All right, anybody else have anything? Mr. Ron, would you do the
Well,
honors? Oh, wait,
I
we got
have
one.
one
You got one.
My grandson is 13, and he killed the largest buck that has been killed in our family and whatever. I'll show you a picture right after.
How many points is that?
It looks to be like 14 or 15. I mean, it's big.
And the tines are huge.
Yeah. Anyway, but I'll be available after the meeting to show you the picture.
Congratulations to the 14-point buck. What's his name?
Archer.
Archer got him a deer.
Just shot it with a gun.
All right. Mr. Ron, would you do
Make
the
a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned, folks. Have a great day.
Thank you.